Hi guys, Gosselin here, and here we are. This is the first installment of honoring our heroes in Canada. Canada's heroes of the past, present, and future. And I'm pretty excited about this group build, and I want to give a big old thanks to Storm22, Sebastian, and Norm Lajoie, who are hosting this group build. I've been anticipating it, and had this model kit for about a month now, so I'm kind of looking at it and just sort of like going, I want to open it up. But it was great. In lieu of before the date of the 11th, I was able to do some research on this truck, the Canadian Chevrolete, and I learned a lot of interesting things about it, and also the history of the actual unit that I'm modeling. This will be we've been part of the 4th Canadian Armored Division, which participated in the Second World War, and is currently, the name and history is still activated in Canada. I think it's called the Land Force Central Area, but actually they were reactivated or activated this year, so couldn't find too much history as to what's going on, but I don't know if they're in Afghanistan or somewhere in the world defending freedom. So anyway, let's not digress. So let's go into the kit. Here we are. The company is Peerless, and I did some more research. This came out in 1976, so that's pushing close to 37 years old, and it predates Airfix and a bunch of other kits. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm building a dinosaur, but hey, that's okay. I like challenges, and I'm surprised for a model kit of this age. It's got over 200 plus parts. I think it pushes close to 300. But here's the instruction sheet, and yeah, it gives you all the parts here, and I thought that was pretty extensive for that time period. Most of the work is all in the chassis system, but it's pretty exciting. And on the reverse, what do we got here? Not too much else. I'll show it anyway, just so you guys can get a glimpse of what's going on. So there's that. It's got a little bit of a history, which I'll go into later, but I did some more research online. The previous owner, or owners, I don't know, they had a few pieces loose in the baggies, but I did some research. It looks like I'm only missing one piece. Here's the all your windows and things, and it's a small minor piece. I'm not really concerned about it. It goes underneath the vehicle, and that's okay with me. And it came with rubber wheels, which I guess is what they did back then. Some modern models still have rubber wheels, but it's got one heck of a seam line in there. I'm not too sure if I'm going to use these or not. I might just go buy some resin. There's a bunch of, I think True Details makes resin. I'm not too excited about this. One being, yeah, look at that seam. It's awful. Then the second problem with it is pure rubber wheels like this. It's hard, from what research I've done. It's painting it, and paint doesn't stick very well to it. And it may look really good for the first year or two, but then it's going to start cracking and blistering. So I might just avoid it altogether. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. The decals are still here, and I have been talking about it. I'm just going to probably just Petting House decals from Germany makes some nice decals for Canadian units in Normandy. Also, some of these things I've noticed I might even try making my own decals, because you can go online and get JPEGs of all these images, and you can just buy some decal paper and print it up. You can shrink it down to the size that matches these. I'm considering it. Maybe I might do one just as an experiment and see what happens, or I'll go buy some. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, so here we are. The plastic is definitely old plastic. I washed this, I think, last night. I hope I didn't break the rule, but I figure washing it's not really building, because the plastic is kind of filmy. So I really kind of washed it down, and the plastic is kind of brittle. It's that old plastic you might see in some of the old Revell and Monogram kits. So I gotta be a little bit careful with how I treat the model. Don't want to, because it's going to shatter, or it's going to really crack if I try working with my knife and Dremel tool. So I gotta be careful. Yeah, and here's the main body piece. It kind of fits something like that. But the detail is really good for a 1976 model kit. I can't complain. I mean, it's even got, well, it's not recessed, but the lines, they're all very crisp. There's a little bit of flash, but nothing to really, I mean, you got a little bit right here, but I mean, it's nothing to get worked up over. A lot of ejector pins on the bottom. I'm going to be knocking those out. So I'll put that right here. All the sprues. One thing too, I don't know, you won't be able to see it, but like on this door, it's like if you look at it at just the right angle, there's a lot of, must have been when they were casting the plastic, but it's got a lot of like little undulations or little bumps, so I might have to just fill it in. So it's not completely smooth, but you figure 1976, they were still tinkering with plastic technology as far as model building stuff. Here we got the wheel rims, some figures, and some stowage. Here's the figures and their legs and all that stuff. I'll probably just skip with the figures. I might actually buy a figure and put them off next to it doing something, I don't know, posing, but because I noticed, I did some research, and there are some, you can get Canadian uniform patches and stuff that would be from, I think, Verlinden. There's a few companies that make them, so that'd be kind of pretty sweet. Kind of really jazz it up as a Canadian soldier. And here we got more stuff for the chassis. And I don't know, after I washed it, I ended up getting like a, it's like this, like, it's almost like a dust, but some kind of like stuff on here. I'm gonna have to probably continue washing it as I go. I'll probably wash it as I glue and assemble the sub-assemblies, just kind of wash it again. I'm very concerned about how the paint is going to adhere to this plastic. You know, like this one's like really got a lot of white stuff on it. I don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's just soap. I don't know. And we got some more pieces here. The grill, here's the grill piece. I may scratch build that part, because I've been looking at some picture references, and I think I could improve that. I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to get some, like, maybe photo etched grilling material. Edouard does make some photo etch for the Tamiya version. I looked at the frets, and I really just don't think it's worth it. It seems like they're giving you a lot of anti-skid plate, which I'm not really concerned about the moldings here, but I didn't see any grill for the actual engine, which is kind of weird. So I might just buy a generic photo etch grill piece and slap it in there, do some drilling. And here's the main chassis with the axles and transmissions. So that's that. Yeah, definitely, it's kind of slippery. I hope this comes out. I am a little concerned about the painting, how it's going to come out as far as sticking to the plastic. I'll be bummed if this doesn't come out well, but yeah, it's alright. Maybe I can always wash it again just to be extra sure. Alright, so I'll put all this stuff back in here, and let's see. Yeah, some history. What did I look up? So I would have to say I found out some interesting things about this truck. I'll just say this, that this truck here, in the official British history of the Second World War, I'm sort of paraphrasing, but this was Canada's greatest contribution to the war effort. So that says a lot. In fact, Canadian trucks, because these trucks are manufactured in Canada, I believe it was Ontario and Manitoba, but actually Canadian truck production exceeded German truck production during the Second World War. So that's a real shot in the arm for Canada for their contribution, and that makes this build even more exciting, because you actually have a Canadian vehicle manufactured by Canadians for the Commonwealth forces during the war. So let's see, history. This sucker, it's funny because it's weird because it says Chevrolet, but it's actually the Ford Motor Company of Canada. So I'm not sure. Is Chevy's not a Ford. Chevy's its own separate thing. I'm not really a car person, so I don't know. But I was just under the assumption that Chevrolet is its own separate entity as a car manufacturing company. But yeah, so anyway, then you got Ford Motor Company of Canada making cars, and this all started around 1937. Obviously, Germany is rising to power and building up its military forces, and obviously the rest of the world was quite aware of what was going on. So Canada started producing by request of the British government to start manufacturing trucks and other things, because they realized this was going to be most likely going to be a mobile war, not so much so like the previous World War. Yeah. As far as production, I couldn't find any true production numbers, but one of the big things though was after the British Expeditionary Force evacuated Dunkirk, tremendously a great achievement, bringing all those troops back to England, but a lot of the land vehicles were left behind. So actually Canada supplied and resupplied a lot of trucks for the British and Commonwealth forces after that. And so that's it about history as far as that kind of stuff. I hope I haven't lost you. I have a tendency to ramble. But I will say that this truck, it has the, what's it called? The number 13 cab design. And this doesn't say much, but it was purely a Canadian concept, but it's going to have if you look at, because there's two types, there's a lot of variants, but this one kind of has like a flat nose, and there's another one that looks a little different, but this one's going to have a flat, straight windshields, which was another purely Canadian design, which was very predominant and came out in 1941. Yeah, number 13 cab design. So there's that part. And also, which is kind of neat, is that Tamiya makes these. I think it's a different type, but there's a lot of different companies. But what I realized doing some research is that there's a lot of variants. They had water tankers, fuel tankers. They had a recovery truck, tow truck, a machine shop, and the most common one is the anti-tank gun transport vehicle, which this is what they all are. But it'd be kind of cool to have like a machine shop one or a water tanker. That'd be a pretty cool scratch build conversion concept. Maybe some company will try it. I know there's been a lot of resin companies making aftermarket conversions for the Italeri German Opel Blitz, and it's like half a dozen conversion you can do with that now, and it's crazy because it's driven the price up on eBay. I used to be able to buy an Opel Blitz 10 years ago for like maybe $8-10 bucks. Now you're looking 25. Like a lot of models, they've all gone up in price, but the Opel Blitz is like, blows my mind. But it's because of demand now. All these resin conversions are available, so demand's going up. Okay, so there's the history of the vehicle. I just want to give a brief history of the 4th Canadian Armored Division. And alright, so I'm not going to go into it because the 4th Canadian Armored Division. It's a derivative. The history goes back to the First World War with the 4th Canadian Infantry Division, which I'm just not going to talk about it because I don't have time. So I'll just go right into World War II. So it was organized in 1942 and sent to the UK for training. Its first engagement was in July of 1944 in Normandy, and participated in the closing engagements of the Chevrolete pocket. And it went on to do a few other things. It was involved in the Battle of the Scheldt estuary, and particularly it was responsible for the taking out the it's called the Breskins pocket. And I should have some maps or something. Maybe in some future updates I'll post some stuff, but I took part in that, and also following the 1st Canadian Army up into the spring of 1945, up into the northern parts of Germany. And there it is. It's composed of the 4th Canadian Armored Brigade and the 10th Canadian Infantry Brigade. And one very interesting piece is that there was a member of the division. His name was David Vivian Curry, and he won the Victoria Cross. He was a part of the well, he took part. It was in Chevrolete pocket at St. Lambert-sur-Dives. It was a major engagement because the Germans were trying to break out, and he did a really good job of keeping them in. And not only did he keep them in, he took out a lot of tanks, a lot of other vehicles and anti-tank guns. Managed to capture over 1,000 Germans. And there's a picture I'll post at the end of this video showing him over at St. Lambert-sur-Dives. And so yes, he won the Victoria Cross. He was the only Canadian in the Normandy campaign to receive the Victoria Cross, and he is the only Canadian to receive the Victoria Cross in the Royal Canadian Armoured Corps during World War II. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I got a picture of him I was able to find, and I'll have that posted. So yeah, as I go through these videos, updates, I'll have a little more, maybe a little bit more detail, a little bit more nuance to some of the history, and also some of the stuff that I'll be tinkering with. So I think I've talked a lot about the kit, the history behind it, and some of the famous individuals of the unit. And so now let's start working on this model. I think the instructions have me working on, yeah, the underside, the assembly. So it's going to be a lot of transmissions and axles. So you just hold on 1 second, and I'm going to see what I can create with this thing. Hi guys. Alright, so what have I been doing? Doesn't look like much, but been doing a lot of removing some flash, and got a few sinkholes I had to work on. So here's the main frame, and you can see right here I put in some putty, had a little sinkhole in there that was quite obvious. I wasn't too sure if it might be visible once the building's finished, so I decided to don't take a chance on it, so filled it in pretty nice. Just used some Tamiya basic type putty. Yeah, it had a little bit of flash, but again, nothing too overwhelming or concerning. And in fact, all the ejection pin marks, I did some looking ahead, and they did a great job with. They put them all in the because what's going to happen is this is top, bottom, and the bed is just going to sit right here, so you're never going to see all these ejection pin marks. So that saved me a lot of work, and it's pretty strategic for their Peerless company. Again, 1976, and these guys really had their act together. And yeah, I had some other major sinkholes, so I'm waiting for this puppy to dry. It was really thick. I put a lot of putty in there. It was a deep hole, so I'll probably have to let it dry overnight before I start sanding it down. And then I just have a little container of parts, dry fitting things, test fitting. Got parts like the exhaust pipe. I'm gonna probably drill out the hole here and probably use a little bit of the baking soda, baking powder method to roughen up that pipe, make it look like it's been rusting. So yeah, so far as working with my knife and Dremel breaking, I'm not having too much of an issue. All the parts are coming off pretty well. Again, they still got kind of a filmy feel to it, but that's okay. Again, I'll wash this puppy down with some soap and a little toothbrush. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Lots of little parts. I mean, all these little, I think these are like the leaf spring things, but a lot of engine parts, a lot of that mechanical stuff, which is kind of cool. I wish I knew more about that stuff. I don't know what they're called. I know there's like drivetrain and training time chain or time wheel, or I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm just a historian. Anyway, yeah, so I got a lot more of just tuning up and stuff. So I just scratched the surface on this model, but yeah, I think I've watched Cohen. He's doing his Leopard 2. I saw his already, so that was pretty impressive. I think I might try that. He did like live build video where he just built and talked. I've never done that before, so I might have to. Maybe this might be an opportunity to try it. There's a few things I'd like to try. There's the I know Hamilcar Barkus and Alex Modeling. They also do they'll do like a speed up reel, and they'll put music or something in the background, which is kind of cool. Maybe I'll experiment with that. We'll see what happens. So that's it for November 11th in remembrance of Canadian heroes, past, present, and future. There's going to be a lot more videos to come, so sit tight, and I'll see you again next time. So here's a few slides and credits thanking our hosts for hosting this really cool group build. Alright, you guys, take care and model on.
Got a roadmap with Jupiter, radar fix on the stars, all along the highway. She's got a crystal compass, picture book of the river, under the Sahara. They travel in the time of the prophet, on a desert highway.